Initiative underpins achievement. Action sets the groundwork for success. Research shows that 2/3 of us postpone important tasks due to apprehension, fear of failure, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or perfectionism. Fortunately, during this period, inspiration may arise due to external circumstances or a strong internal drive for transformation. Regardless of its source, this lunation is the perfect time to channel the energies of the Ram and the Red Planet into achieving your goals. Hey there, Truth Seeker. Welcome to the Star Kittens community where we discuss 13 sign astrology. Are you in alignment with your divine design? Do you want to master the metaphysical reality? Open the doors of perception. Each planetary body is an archetype, a template, if you will, that helps us interpret human behavior in the world around us. The more awake and aware we are, the more synchronicity will show up in your life. Our focus today is the Aries Full Moon and the potent T-square with Pallas Athena. Opposite, the Sun forms a conjunction with Poseidon. To help us reach more souls with this important message, please like, share and subscribe. There's a lot going on, so let's jump in. Kia ora, David.
Kia ora.
A full moon, and it occurs here in New Zealand on the 6th of November at 2:19 a.m, super early in the morning. There's no cloud, maybe we shall see it. What is the overview for us?
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. After the busyness of the last two eclipses, and the only two for 2025, preparing us for change, we arrive at the proverbial start line. Aries signals action, the clear sign that the cosmic energies have shifted from inward to outward. Aries moon agitates us emotionally and spurs us to act, often through anger or frustration. Without question, Aries moon is emotionally strong, determined, and we need to be resolute in our purpose at this time. It is an occasion, or it is a period, to break free and break through resistance, to pursue our goals and to start moving forward. Emotionally, we might be triggered during an Aries moon. We might be upset, we may be thwarted or disrupted. This may come to us as external events in the world that pressure us to respond, or it could come internally through pain or discomfort, just a general sense of dis-ease or unease and nervous anticipation. Without a doubt, we are sensing change. This is a rubber meets the road lunation, and there's no turning back. Opposite, the Libra sun signals balance. Whatever it is that we do, don't rush in, look before you leap. However, you've got this, or we've got this. Conjunction, the sun's conjunction with Poseidon brings focus to our spirit, our imagination and our creativity. Poseidon, as a reminder, was the Greek god of the sea, and the Roman equivalent is Neptune. So we're talking here about Poseidon. Streams of consciousness come through this energy. We experience Poseidon in a number of ways, depending on our mindset and depending where we're at. It can be felt as storming emotions, as a sense of wanting to just escape and get out of the traps that we feel that we're in, whether they be mental, emotional, real, or perceived. We could experience confusion and anxiety with a Poseidon influence here too. Alternatively, Poseidon may trigger in us a really abrupt spiritual awakening, a aha moment, clarity. We may, in fact, look back at this period of November, early November 2025, and realize and recognize and pinpoint that we made a significant evolutionary leap on our personal path, our personal journey. Pallas Athena's role here as the apex of a T-square reminds us to be savvy, to be strategic and cunning in whatever it is that we do. Any plans and projects that we initiate now, that we commence, should therefore be smart, they should be sophisticated, they should be purposeful and focused. The secret to getting ahead, of course, is to simply get started.
Indeed. Thank you for that overview. I'm excited to be talking about Pallas Athena. She has a prominent position in my chart, so I always enjoy learning more. But first, we're going to talk about Poseidon. So just a little bit of a overview. The sun during this full moon sits at 5 degrees Libra and conjunct with Poseidon at 8 degrees. So nice and close. What would you like to share about Poseidon today?
Okay, Poseidon. Poseidon represents enlightenment, illumination, and vision. With Poseidon's energy, our ideas are crystal clear and sharp, which certainly will help at this time. When combined with an Aries moon, that is a signal to confidently move forward in the direction of our dreams. Aries fire propels and boosts Poseidon's vision, giving it a lift and velocity. This right now is an opportunity to make a statement, to arrive, to experience a personal breakthrough. Mentally, that could be coming from the Libra sun, or emotionally, which could be coming from the Aries moon. And strategically, which in this context I refer to as whole brain thinking, that is an integration of our head and heart. That's that Pallas energy. Pallas was wise and smart and savvy because she used both sides of the brain. So therefore, Poseidon is about transparency, lucidity, and higher consciousness. Poseidon is the higher octave of Neptune, and it symbolizes seeking truth and exemplifying wisdom, which I define as knowledge with heart, not just knowledge with head. Poseidon is personified through ethical people and ethical behavior. Poseidon has information that causes enlightenment and awakening in others. Poseidon people ground their awakened knowledge into human consciousness, and they do that in a practical and pragmatic way, which really reflects that Aries and Libra energies. Aries, as we've talked about earlier, is about taking action, but in this context, when combined with Poseidon, it is about taking action to express your truth. Libra is about communicating whatever it is that you have to say with balance. Pallas Athena, the energies of Pallas here is to be strategic and skillful as we deploy and as we express our wisdom to the world. We need to be artful with our prose and with our communication. We need to be an exemplar to others. We exhibit ethical behavior with Poseidon's energy. I like the expression here, be the change you want to see in the world. Poseidon people are often orators, broadcasters, influencers, tutors, teachers, academics, writers, bloggers, podcasters, and linguists. These people, or those with that energy, or attuned to, or aligned with, or expressing this energy, channel truth. They bring wisdom to the masses. They bring enlightenment and clarity, which is so important as we move into the fourth turning, or the end of the fourth turning. Poseidon people, because of their very articulate and high-minded nature, and we're talking about that ability to tune into the higher octaves of our reality, so the third eye and the crown and the etherical realms. If you are channeling or bringing through or expressing Poseidon's energy from those higher realms, you are a master of metaphysics, and you are capable of perceiving and communicating the intangible to others. We often talk about when there is a serious injury or illness that we confront in our own lives. Again, you and I do this regularly. We often go to Lise Bourbeau's book or books, and we find the metaphysical reason. It isn't always aligned with the reality, but a lot of the time when we're injured or have an ailment, there is a metaphysical reason behind it. Well, Poseidon people, as a practical example, are good channels of that type of information, that higher perspective, and bringing it through in the real world so that we can make sense of it.
Yeah, having that proper communication tools to indeed share their wisdom. You and I have had many discussions in recent weeks about all sorts, from the financial system to more spiritual conversations, where that beautiful truth people need to be aware, become aware, so that they can wholeheartedly make decisions that they stand behind. And so I look forward to this end of the fourth turning, where a lot of illusions hopefully will come down. Time will tell. Exciting times to be here anyway. So we've spoken about the Sun and Poseidon sitting in Libra. Opposite, of course, is this full moon in Aries at 14 degrees Aries. But the T-square that we've mentioned is Pallas Athena. So it's that head of the triangle, and Pallas Athena sits at 9 degrees Capricorn. What would you like to share about her today?
Pallas Athena was the Greek goddess of wisdom. In the Roman pantheon, she was called Minerva, but we're talking about the same energy. Pallas Athena, Minerva. The Roman version, she was the deity of law and justice and victory. When we look at the etymology of the word wisdom, it traces back to the concepts of seeing, Poseidon, and knowing. Wisdom is the ability to connect the insight that we have from within and the perception through communication. We express wise judgment. This is what Pallas Athena's energies are about. And we understand Libra's justice in the truest sense of what justice actually refers to, which is the scales. And it's the ability to weigh ideas, emotions, and differences in opinion. Pallas Athena was the patron of the arts. She was a master of craft. She was dexterous and broad-minded. Her symbols are the owl and the olive tree, which are kind of self-explanatory, but also the Aegis shield. The Aegis breastplate in Roman and Greco-Roman mythology contained an image of Medusa's head, which when gazed upon could turn the watcher into stone. Therefore, Aegis was seen as a source of supernatural power, which was then conflated to mean that Pallas Athena, who regularly wore this Aegis breastplate, it was conflated to mean that she had supernatural power. Of course, that Medusa's head is also associated with warfare and weaponry. So this is where the resonances with Aries and Mars often come together with Pallas Athena. Pallas was very highly regarded in both the Roman and the Greek pantheons. And when we think about the patriarchal systems that existed at that time, to have a female regarded in amongst what was predominantly a male-dominated hierarchy was quite something to behold. So Pallas Athena was considered also a diplomat, and that harkens to the Libra energy. She was a strategic advisor, which points to Poseidon, her ability to see and to feel inspiration and to join the dots, as it were, and communicate them in a way that other people understood. Therefore, Pallas Athena represents the ability to see multiple angles and perspectives whenever we're dealing with difficult, intractable issues, when we are stuck, when we feel thwarted, when we feel like there's no place to turn, no place to go. This is where we bring in the Pallas Athena, and we can invoke her energy and ask her to help us. When we think about Poseidon's clarity and Aries drive and Libra grace all mixed in together with Pallas Athena, we have a pretty powerful archetype right there. So the messages from Pallas Athena at this lunation are to be competent, which is to work on your skills. If we are to take action, we need to feel like we're competent to do so. And what that implies is that we are spending time working on our skills. We are upgrading our abilities in whatever way that we do that. But the key to it, as I interpret Pallas Athena with respect to developing wisdom, which first comes from knowledge, we have to have knowledge before we have wisdom. Or we have wisdom which is confirmed by knowledge. They work in a virtuous cycle. But if we are being competent in the way we express ourselves, and we are working on our skills to do the best job that we can in whatever it is that we're doing and standing in our truth, Poseidon, we need to be consistent. We need to be disciplined, and we need to do it in a rigorous manner. That way, when we do those things consistently and disciplined and in a rigorous way, we lay the foundation for sustainable growth. We methodically develop ourselves, and this is the key to Pallas and Aries energy working together. We use our knowledge and our intelligence and our creativity to develop solutions. If Pallas Athena was seen as a strategist and she had the counsel of these often military generals or rulers or royalty or people in positions of authority, it goes without saying that she had that ability to see many pieces of the puzzle all at once. And that's a very unique skill, to see both the big picture and, what's the analogy? I guess if we're looking at a jigsaw puzzle, it's that ability to spatially be aware of what the final picture looks like, even though we're dealing with only one small piece at a time. So Pallas Athena, when combined with an Aries moon, is about expressing our warrior spirit. And it's about developing our perception, Poseidon, and fostering our sense of justice, Libra, and being willing to fight for what is right. Action is the foundation for all success.
Thank you so much for giving that beautiful knowledge about Pallas Athena. As I said, she has a prominent position in my chart, so it's very nice to learn more and more about her. Thank you, David, for sharing. So that is actually all we have today. Is there anything you want to close out with?
No, other than, as I said at the outset, we've just had and come through two really busy eclipses, a solar and a lunar. I know personally I'm feeling some big shifts for me, particularly in those areas of health and well-being and work, which we talked at length about in our prior blogs. So when you bring all of those things together, I guess this is the time of action. And the strategic piece with Pallas Athena, what I was going to add also, and it's just come to me now, is to be strategic, you have to take some time to assess the lay of the land. I know for me in my work, I spend a lot of time looking at data, and I do that to help me see both the big picture and the big jigsaw puzzle, the finished picture, even though it's not finished, but also every piece as well. But all of us are different. But the key here is that we need to be able to engage both sides of our brain. So if that's the message about Pallas Athena when we're engaging with Aries action and the desire to move forward, the ability to be strategic and the ability to bring a vision through, the Poseidon energy, which is the coming together of all of those three. What that also means is that meditation and mindfulness is a key to unlock some of this. Because it may come, this inspiration the insight might come in the shower. Often it does in the shower for me, or when you're out in the garden, or you're relaxing, or in the middle of the night. So have a journal ready and be prepared to capture some of those ideas, because they may come out of nowhere. That's really all I'd like to say.
Thank you. You can watch all our videos on YouTube and listen to us on the go on Spotify, Audible, Podbeam, Apple Podcast, wherever else you can get your podcast. Flick us an email, order your personalized chart or a natal reading, and we shall see you next time. Ngā mihi.
Namaste.